All right. So as we're waiting a little bit for people to come on, join us a little late tonight, 8:50. We're starting it, but it's a Friday. There's nothing else to do today. There's no football games, no NFL, but there is a lot of local politics, local news to talk about. That there's plenty of that, huh? Never finishes. Nunca termina eso, no. All right, we got some people joining in. I apologize. Our light, little sort of solar light that we had out here, not working for us today. Found it on the ground, and it's not working. So we're waiting for people to come on to talk to us. Um, it seems our title didn't update here correctly, but let's see. So we're doing this is actually podcast number 32. So we're going to be talking about some of the topics that are coming out right now. One big topic that we do want to touch on, of course, Eagle Pass elections. They are coming up. We are, what was it, 18, 17 days away from early voting, guys. So one of the things I'm big on is if you guys can complain, if you guys don't like what's going on with your elected officials, city, county, hospital district, anywhere you elect members to govern your guys' taxes, pretty much. That is what, those are the things that you guys, they're hanging in the front. Those are the things that you guys need to participate in all the time. There's one day that you need to be telling yourself, no, I'm not going to go vote. That's not too big of a decision. I don't really care what happens. No, I'm sorry to say that one time that you don't vote is that one time that somebody else could win that is not moving in the best interest of you, your future, your family's future, and what the best interest for you may be. I mean, I don't know. I can't pretend to say I know what your best interest is. Of course, as a um, human species, I guess if you want to say, you can kind of categorize different people by, you get to know them. Some people are more family oriented. Some people don't give a crap about family. Uh, some people take care of their kids. Other people don't take care of their kids. Um, some people don't care about voting. Other people do care very much about voting, but it's important to vote. That's one thing that I will always say, no matter what, is that it doesn't matter how you vote. What matters is that you actually do vote. Um, it's important because it's real hard later on to accept, whoever is running or whoever is making decisions. It's real easy for us as not being the elected official. It's real easy for them to say, hey, um, who cares? It doesn't matter. This, that, whatever, right? But then after the election, you can't criticize anything from there because it's like, okay, well, you didn't take the time to vote, right? So why even complain? Why anything? And it's funny like that. But that's the way things are, right? Let me know, guys, in the comments. Uh, if you can help me out, the guys that are on here right now, share this, like it, put a comment. Can you guys help me out with that? Put a comment. Let me know how is the audio. Again, we're doing this new little edition that we want to call Cooked. Uh, Again, we're still with the Maverick Times podcast, right? Um, and we're in episode 32, and we're gonna have our Eagle Pass elections and community news, right? But we wanted to call this one Cooked Edition. We're out here in the backyard, about to throw some burgers on the grill. Um, but I thought that, hey, let me connect with the viewers out there. I know that a lot of you have been wanting to know what's going on with the elections, with the people that are running for mayor. You have three candidates. I know a lot of you out there want to know what's going on, and you guys follow the Maverick Times because you guys want to know. Maybe not how to vote, but you guys want to know what's out there about each candidate, and that's what we're here for. We do try to provide you guys with an intimate knowledge of the people that are running, and some are easier to research than others. I will say that, and that just depends on the candidate. I think that a lot of the times when it's so easy to get information, or not information, but as quote unquote dirt, um, it's a thing where, man, there's so much out on somebody that it's, what do you do with all this, right? And then you get some candidates where they're clean. They don't really have anything other than what somebody else might have said. And I'll be straight up honest with you. The majority of the narratives that do get created, um, and I say created because they're not of organic source. um, and it happens here. It happens a lot. I mean, uh, you guys know politics here. I think that you guys are probably viewing because you know the politics here, and you understand the dynamics of our community and how cómo trabaja la política aquí, ¿verdad? You guys know that. I'm not here to tell you anything about that. But again, guys, if you guys can, uh, do me that favor, like this post, share it. Uh, we need to uh, we need to get as many people as we can to see this. Uh, Also, if you have any questions, anything, we are open to you guys and see what kind of questions you have about these candidates. I know we've been putting out a lot of information, a lot of news, and it may be difficult to sort out what is real, what is not, especially when other news medias will give you whatever the dollar will give them, right? Whatever the money, lo que dura la peseta, right? But um, yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything like that, let us know. Again, we're doing a cooked version of this. There's a pun intended on that one, right? We're cooking some burgers here for the kiddos. But more than anything, we're reaching out to the community because we're getting closer to the election, guys. There's, just over 2 weeks left until we start voting. And when I say that, I mean early voting. So it's right around the corner. 2 weeks is nothing. That's pretty much going to sleep, and you'll be 2 weeks right away. So it's important to know what's going on, who's going around, and what activities are being done. It's important because you need to know or be prepared to go out and vote and make an impact, because you can, again, kind of what we said before is that can say what you want. You can go and complain. You can say this and that. But if you're not ready to exercise your right to go vote, do you actually have a voice in the game? Um, we, as Maverick County, City of Eagle Pass, have a historically low voter turnout. I mean, every year it's almost automatic. You do see the upticks whenever you have the presidential elections, as we saw this past presidential election in 2024. You saw an uptick in votes, and the majority of those votes, as we all saw, went to a Republican president that we've never seen that before. Here in Maverick County is predominantly Democrat, and we've always seen Democratic presidents take control of everything. So it's a thing where it is just changing, and the dynamic of it is so fresh. It's just going in through the chamber, as so to speak, right? Is that the big question? Is Maverick County Eagle Pass changing to a more conservative standpoint, especially ever since I mean, since we've been through so much these past couple of years with 2020 COVID, and the past 4 years have been extremely different as compared to this first year, a couple of months and only, with Republican president. We have a question. Well, literally a question mark. Not sure what you did the question mark on, but if you elaborate a little bit more, other than a question mark, we can probably answer that for you. Who is the Republican candidate for mayor? So the way things work with the city is that it's bipartisan. In other words, or nonpartisan. So in other words, you do not have anybody required to declare whether they're Republican or whether they're Democrat or independent for that matter. They do not have to declare that. City positions are nonpartisan. So there is no like Democrat election, there's no Republican election, there's no general election, there's nothing like that. Pretty much how it works is that it's one election, there is runoffs if needed, but there isn't anything to say who's the Republican candidate for mayor. Um, One of the things I will say with that is that we do have one of a strong, Republican supporter, Alfredo Ariano. Some of you may know him. He is heavily supporting Aron Valdez. And we did question today in a live with Aron Valdez. He's a mayor candidate. He mentioned that Aron Valdez, that Alfredo Ariano was helping him block walk and participating, and he gave him, a thanks for the support. So what we asked Aron Valdez, who's running for mayor, he's the chairman at the Maverick County Hospital district. Um, we asked him, what is the interest that Mr. Ariano has. We know Mr. Ariano likes to dabble in the politics. We know he's involved. Let's say that, right? So we want to know how involved, especially with possible future mayor candidate, not a future mayor candidate, possible future mayor. So we asked him, and his response was what we take as acceptable, right? He did a good response, and he mentioned a couple of things, but it's important to keep these candidates accountable. It's important to ask these types of questions because most of the time, a lot of people tend not to ask those difficult questions and not want to participate in questioning what our elected officials are doing. Um, and it's a difficult situation. I get that, but it's there is no a candidate for the Republican or Democrat. You don't have to elect anything or declare anything, but you do at the county level. At the city level, you do not. At the school board level, you don't have to declare a partisan. It's nonpartisan. But once you get to the county level, there is a declaration or a partisan that you have to fall under. Uh, Again, it's independent, Democrat, or Republican. So, guys, we're getting into the thick of things right now. We're hoping a little more people get on. There's a lot of we got to talk about. All right, sorry about that, guys. We threw these kids burgers on the grill. That's what the kids ask for, right? You got to keep the kids happy. So one of the things we needed to talk about, and it's Friday night. I know a lot of you guys are enjoying yourselves, and for those of you that are on here watching us, we appreciate it. Um, we thought that we take this time to connect with you guys and see if you guys had any questions about the election, about any of the news that we've been putting out. The election, guys. I know you've been seeing a lot of movement from every single camp. People are moving around right now. What we're seeing is that um, the people are focusing a lot on the mayor race, and I think you guys are smart enough. You guys have seen it. You guys know that in the mayor race, there's a lot of eyes. People are curious who's gonna win, who's gonna take that mayor spot because it's very important. And the mayor spot is being high. It's a highly sought position. It's not a paid position. They don't get paid any money. The value in holding that spot is you have a governing board, right? That governing board in this case, with our example, would be the city council. The city council, there's 5 members there, so there's 5 votes that can be made there. Now, the mayor that's elected, he is the chairperson. Now, a lot of people think that the mayor has so much power, can do this, can do that, and maybe a good mayor does. A good mayor does. Um, but in some of the cases, what people tend to forget is that there's 5 votes on that governing board. So the person that it's very important if you want to see your initiatives or what your beliefs are and you want to get those things accomplished or done, you need to make sure that there's a candidate on there that is able to secure the votes that are going to pass, whatever policies or that is going to direct, whatever leader to follow through with what what the wishes are of city council, right? So it's important in the leader that they elect. So it's important in who they choose because eventually that person is going to be the one that's going to carry out the messages. That person is going to be the one that is going to carry out the wishes of council. Now, you have 3 spots up for election right now. So, um, if you think about it in a strategical way, there is there is three positions up. So three out of five, that's the majority. Right now, in this election cycle, there is a majority that is up for grabs. That's very important to think about. Now, whenever the election cycle with the majority comes out, it's very important because you need to see and notice, be aware that this election cycle is different than the other election cycle when there's only two running. Why is that? Because to get anything done in any governing board, the majority, the majority is who gets something done. Now, the majority doesn't always stay the same the whole 2 years, the whole 4 years, or whatever the majority had planned out. Things like that can change up. Let me tell you, it can change up the majority, but whenever the cycle where a majority comes, which is in this case with the city of Eagle Pass, you have the mayor position, you have place two, and you have place four, right? So that's the majority. That's three out of the five votes there. So what tends to happen in these types of elections, or in any election for that matter, um, in any election, what tends to happen? So sorry about that, guys. Had to tend to the meat real quick. We got some burgers for the kids. The kids. It's Friday night. It's a kids' choice. What they want to eat. So kids' choice was grilled burgers. We got them some grilled burgers, and we got ourselves a podcast, the cooked edition. So, anyways, you have a situation where it's important to you got to know these things, and it's not enough, especially if you're my age. It's not enough to get by like the majority of our parents do. I mean, I can only assume, right? I don't really know, but we are not at the age where we can just let things go as is, or not pay attention, or just no me va a afectar, que me importa, and these are a lot of the phrases that our parents say, and I say that because I know the people out there watching are typically people that are around my age, have the same kind of belief system. So you see that, but right now it's 2025, and if 2020 back in COVID did not, we everybody had extra time to do whatever the fuck you want, right? Now, you could have invested your time to improve your mind. You could have invested your time to improve your body, your physical. You could have taken your time to increase your spirituality. I mean, anything, right? Because a lot of us were, I don't want to say blessed, but a lot of us were given time that a lot of time that we didn't expect to ourselves. So um, I say that, but if you did not wake up during that period, it's going to be very difficult to wake up moving on. Now, I know a lot of you people that do watch and kind of glance at our stuff. You guys are the ones that, hey, maybe you're not fully woken up and aware of everything, but you guys are starting to see things. You guys are starting to connect the dots yourself, but you are seeking answers, right? And we don't have all the answers. I'll say that, disclaimer, I guess. But there's a lot of stuff that you guys, are taking care of family. You guys are taking care of your households. You guys are taking care of your jobs. You guys are taking care of the kids. You guys don't have the time to be looking up these things, worrying about these things, right? So, and there's a lot of things that go on. I'm not gonna try to downplay everything, right? Because there's a lot of shit that happens, and a lot of you guys, we appreciate that you guys follow us. I would say follow as many news medias as you can, but we appreciate that you guys follow us, and regardless of you read a news story somewhere, you guys continue to come to us to make sure it's the truth. Because look, let's not sugarcoat it. You guys have seen this election cycle, and this election cycle has brought about a lot of what. If you guys on Facebook, you guys like to watch debates, you guys like to follow politics. I know you guys have noticed the rise of the fake profiles, and they're out there. Hey, and you cannot knock or say anything against or bad about somebody using a fake profile, because there is that um, instance where people are afraid to comment certain things. Now, you guys are smart enough to distinguish between these fake profiles as to somebody that is trying to educate the people versus somebody that is trying to negatively influence the people. And you guys are smart. I mean, if you guys could not distinguish something like that, I don't think you guys would be watching this podcast, or following our content. You guys wouldn't be able to do anything like that if you wouldn't recognize the situation for what it is at hand. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I had to check over here real quick. Make sure that nothing is burning, because there's nobody else that'll roast you more than your own kids. Now, I wouldn't call myself a master griller. I've had some accidents here and there, but there's nobody else that roasts me more than my own kids when I burn any type of meat on here. If I burn something, man, my kids let me have it, guys. So, uh, excuse me if I'm checking it consistently, but we're starting to get a couple of more people on here, and I'm glad. It's Friday, guys. I'm not here to try to educate you guys, or do something formal, or provide you with any type of information other than, have a good time. It's Friday night. The chat the chat box is open. You guys have any questions or want to talk about some of the information that we've been putting out, having to do with any of the candidates, guys. I'll be honest, the mayor race has really hijacked the whole city council election this cycle, because if you look, I mean, it's very rare that you hear anything about the city council, the city council positions. All you hear is about the mayor position, the city council council person positions, place 2 and 4. They're up for grabs too. You have one incumbent fighting for the position, and in the other coin, you have a three-way race. That's it's going to be interesting how that one goes. We're going to try to reach out to some of the candidates. I know we reached out to them a little bit early. Some of them did make some comments, I guess, that they would have a podcast, some type of interview with us. So we're just finalizing those dates for you guys, but we will have something. Unfortunately, I don't think that we will have a debate. That's probably not going to happen, but we do have an opportunity where we may be able to host some of these candidates for more than one podcast. I do like having a podcast where we can get to know a candidate on not official level, but a personal level. Get to know them as a person rather than as a public figure. And then I do also like the interview where or podcast where we grill them. We hold them to accountable to the position that they will be serving us. And there isn't that many that have signed up for that type of podcast, but I think both type of podcasts are very important because you need to know you need to know about both sides of the coin. You need to know about a person's personal to a certain extent. You need to know what their history is, how they act, what decisions they make as a person, as an individual. But you also got to know them as an elected official and the decisions they make in the capacity of an elected official, because elected officials, guys, they decide everything for us while we fork over our hard-earned tax dollars to them. So it's very important whenever you go, and it upsets me when people say, who cares, I'm not going to vote, it doesn't matter, they elect the same people. And it upsets me because you say that, yet you still have to send tax dollars to these people, and you're not willing to put an effort to at least see your tax dollars getting used correctly. That's an excuse that I've heard time and time again. It it's no longer an excuse in 2025. It's not an excuse, guys. It's not an excuse. You need to get off your ass. Stop being lazy. There's early voting. There's election days. Get off your ass. Go make a vote, whatever your vote is, but make sure you vet these people. Don't just go con lo que dijo la tía, que la prima me dijo que voto por él y que me dieron $20 aquí para votar por él. None of that. You know what I mean? So you have to get up off your ass, go vote, because these people are making decisions that implicate your tax dollars. Your tax dollars are being used. It just the matter is if they're being used appropriately, reasonably, and efficiently. And it's up to you to keep those elected officials accountable for how they use your tax dollars, guys. I know every year, I mean, every time you guys get a check, you look at your check, look at your gross pay compared to your net pay. Where do you think those taxes go? You pay property taxes. Where do you think those taxes go? To your governments. You need to keep your government accountable for the decisions they make, and make sure you get out and vote and elect people that you think will use that funding correctly, that will vote to use your tax dollars efficiently, appropriately, and smart. There's no reason throwing a bunch of money at a dead project or a project that's not going to ever come into fruition. You need to be smart who you elect, and you need to be involved. Uh, You need to get out there and vote, guys. Pretty much. Right now, we're going to get to some questions. They look pretty good. Let me just check something out. All right, guys. Sorry about the little break. We're here live, the Maverick Times, number 0032. First ever official cooked edition. This is the cooked edition, guys. Um, we're out here making burgers. The kiddos wanted to have some burgers. We drove over to Casino Grocery for their Wagyu beef burgers. It's a 4 pack. Um, we're interested to see how it goes. We typically shop when it comes to our meat, any kind of products like that. We always hit up Casino Grocery, guys. Shop local, help our small businesses out here locally. HEB, Walmart, they have great stuff as well, but we got to help out our local businesses and make sure they thrive. Thanks for joining us again. We're just kind of winging a podcast here, wanting the community to provide us some input as to what they feel and how they feel the elections are going on. We have a few notes here. There isn't that many um, things we really wanted to address, but one of the things that the Maverick Times has always provided is a platform for anybody to express themselves, whether you're a fake profile, whether you are a potty mouth, whether you want to provide professional insight. You know, we're an open forum that respects freedom of speech. We understand that there is a lot of fake profiles out there, and it is what it is. Our forefathers, had the Federalist papers, where they would engage in articles about freedom, about criticizing their government, and they had to use pseudo names, fake names, to put out articles on these newspapers, the Federalist papers, and they had to do that because of fear of their local government. And I'm sure these fake profiles that you guys see, and I call it all the time. You have to call out a fake profile whenever you see one. You have to do it, and I encourage all of y'all watching. It should be a normal practice that you guys call out fake profiles. Yes, call them out, but I wouldn't dismiss what they're saying just because they are a fake profile. But that does need to go into your factor. Like, they could say anything. You need to think, okay, this is a fake profile. What is it that they want me to think? And is that even relevant to the decision making process that you as an individual go through whenever you select a candidate for office? So that's one thing I'll say. Let's get to these comments because we know how all of a sudden these comments can back up on us. um, let's see. Why was it such a big deal with Monica Cruz going to see a doctor in Piedras? Well, uh, I don't think it was too much of a big deal, but a city resident did. And I think that if a city resident thought um, that it was a big deal, I think that, yeah, something needs to be changed. But it's like it's not a big deal because I'll be honest. I go to the doctor in Mexico sometimes. It all depends what the situation is. It's a per situation basis. I don't know the situation. We did share the comment from Councilwoman Mayor candidate Monica Cruz, what she told us whenever we questioned her about the situation, because you guys wanted to know what was going on. So we asked her, and we got you a response. I'm not sure how you guys received the response, but nonetheless, that was a response given. I don't think it's a big deal, especially since that's a normal practice for me. I do go and seek medical consultations over there, I guess, if you want to call it. But I could see as well how some could be offended that you are running for a mayor seat, yet you don't trust your own people. Now, again, we're dealing with a situation. I don't know the person that posted that, but there was several of you all that sent me that post. So you guys were concerned about it. We wrote a post about it, how this girl was calling it out. We sent out a message to Councilwoman Monica Cruz. She responded to us, and that's the response we got from her. Now, there's two sides of the coin as always. I don't think it was a big deal for those of you all that do that type of thing, that you guys go see the doctor in Mexico sometimes. But again, I could see how if you're working in the hospital over there, and I could see how somebody could take offense to that. And to each their own, if you're in your feelings or not. But it is what it is. Now, hold that thought. Don't anybody go anywhere. Let me just make sure this stuff does not burning, because we don't want the kids to make fun of us. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Y'all still on here? Everybody's still on here. All right. Okay. So, uh, man, I think it depends on your values. It depends on how you feel about it. It may not have been a big deal. Now, the reason why it could be a big deal, I have seen some other posts out there, and people have commented, is that they feel it was inauthentic. They feel it was staged. The visit of Monica Cruz to the doctor, they feel it was staged. I've heard people say comments like, "Look at the IV; it's not even in the correct place. There's no blood or anything on the IV and the lines. Was it a fake IV?" Other people have mentioned things of that nature, where they feel the video was a misstep, and a lot of people are questioning the authentication, not the authentication, but the councilwoman's authenticity. So a lot of people don't know whether it was, did she really have to go to the hospital, or was it staged, or was it a thing that, hey, I have a debate, I know I'm going to be met with this is the excuse I have to give. And that is what a lot of you guys wanted to know, wanted to seek, and I understand why you guys would want to know something like that. For a mayor candidate to be not able to conduct their activities due to a stressful situation, I can see how all of you guys out there are concerned about a situation like that. Um, Chico de Luna, I was born and have been in the hospital here. And if I was given an option to go to a hospital here, San Antonio, I'm going to San Antonio. Mm. Now, there's been a lot of comments like that where people are saying, you know, um, I wouldn't want to go to the hospitals here, um, kind of criticizing our emergency department. Um, I know a lot of those criticisms. It's tough. I can be only honest myself. Whenever I have gone, and this is my point of view, I have gone, or any of my kids, the majority of the time, they're very diligent at the Fort Duncan Medical Center there in the ER. They're very diligent in taking care of what they need to take care of. I know for some time we did receive a lot of word of the illegals being here and overtaking the system. Pretty much what they were given priority over us as residents here, right? But the majority of, like my first visits, I mean, it hasn't been that bad. But people do comment that uh, people are left for dead there, this, that, or the other. I mean, I don't have that perspective. I do know that there's been times I've been there, and the hospital has underperformed. It's not every time, but there is moments that they do. Now, I guess your choice of where you want to get your medical issue taken care of is it's your choice. But again, I do see how that may bother some people, especially the people that are you, you want this community to have your back, you have to have their back too, and support them like you want them to support you. So I totally get that in that aspect. Um, okay, I read that one. I'm sorry. Please, the excessive amount one gets in debt after going here is insane. Luckily, I have insurance, but I still hesitate to go to the hospital here. Yeah, I mean, and that makes total sense. That's understandable. Everyone has that mentality here in EP, but slowly but surely waking up and voting the corrupt out. I've always said, if you won't, if they vote in doesn't work out, you'll vote them out the next election. Yeah, makes sense, Forti. So as always, it's not a big deal. They take better care of you, better medicines, and piedras. I mean, in Mexico, it could go either way, bro. It's just what's important to you. I would say in Mexico, they probably have stronger medication that's not as highly regulated as it is here. Probably easier access to it because here, I mean, you have to give, I don't know what the hell, and it's over regulated here. Um, uh, Now, the thing I will say is that here in the United States compared to Mexico is that over there, it's like you're meeting new all the damn time, and they don't have your history. Here, if you've always gone to the doctor here locally in the network, you have all your history, everything that's happened to you. So when it comes time to make diagnosis or decisions, they have all the information available to them throughout the years. In Mexico, it's like, damn, they just met you 5 minutes ago. They just heard your symptoms. They don't know if you forgot something, or if, hey, this medication uh, could bother you if you have this allergy. You forgot to mention that. And you get what I'm saying? That's the only precaution that I would give as far as going to Mexico and not having that extensive medical history established with your medical provider. Because here in Mexico, I mean, I mean, over there in Mexico, it's a little different than the way it is here in the United States. And I mean, if you're willing, like I said, it depends what's important to you, and if you're willing to accept the differences, then it's to each their own at that point. Comments are a little slow today. Let me see. I have received great service at the ER by staff, nurses, and doctors. My concern is the billing. Yeah, uh, let me go ahead and put that so everybody can read it. Guys, I'm not even gonna lie. You guys were almost gonna witness these kids roasting me, man. It's okay. Emergency. We got it down. We took care of it. But it's a slow Friday today, guys. Uh, that's the risk when you do a podcast on a Friday when everybody wants to go out. You got only those hardcore people that want to know what's going on, that know something's not right. But we're gonna probably chill it out, diet down right now. But guys, it's important to know these candidates. It's important to know who you're dealing with. Um, I think the most important thing is making sure you guys have somebody you can trust to give you that information that's needed. The information that they may not give you out in the open. They not may not give it to you. May not be advertised out there. But knowing a candidate at a level where you can understand how they would vote or what action they would make if given an opportunity to vote for something, having the confidence in the candidate, knowing they are going to vote the way you want them to vote because you elected them for office. So it's important to get out there and vote. It's important for you guys to make the difference. Not only that, but to know that you guys are there and are able to make a difference. All it takes is for you guys to stand up, get out there, vote, take a chance. But guys, this was our first edition, cooked edition. Not as big as I thought, but hey, we have some good ones. We have some down ones, and then we go ahead and get better. But one of the things that we do want to address, and it needs to be addressed, it needs to be addressed, is the situation going on with the city of Eagle Pass and them safeguarding, holding hostage the positions, department head positions that are being held hostage just because we are in an election year. Uh, it's terrible that they're doing that, and I can't point you out exactly who, which councilman or the mayor or who's calling the shots out there, but one of the things that you notice, that I notice, is that they're holding back on these positions, and they're not doing it for any good reason other than they are trying to hold these positions as political bargaining chips. They're political bargaining chips. And the only ones that hold these political bargaining chips are the ones that are currently in office. It's difficult for, let's say, challengers outside that do not hold this office. Like, let's say, Aron Valdez is running for mayor. He doesn't hold this office. So it would be hard for him to be calling the shots when he's on the outside. Another example of that would be, let's say, Jorge Sierra. He's a new candidate. He's not the incumbent. So he's on the outside. He wouldn't be able to control anything on the inside, right? And then on place four, you have three different candidates. None of them is a sitting councilman. So you know that they're unable to make any type of decisions or get the city manager involved and force him to do or force him to make a decision. So we saw the press release that just got released. They're basically trying to get interviews about for a chief of police. You're getting interviews for a chief of police, yet you have one, an interim, Amy Gonzalez, that, not just because I say it, because the whole community has said it. This lady, this woman is doing an incredible job as the interim chief of police. And I know a lot of y'all agree about that. We agree. Even people that may not agree with us most of the time, they agree that Amy Gonzalez is getting the job done and she's doing a great job. And we have never seen more community outreach from law enforcement than we have seen since Amy Gonzalez has taken over the position of chief of police. Now, not taken over, it's an interim. Now, I will hold accountable not only the current council, but also the city manager. Yes, the city manager is hired by the council to implement their policies and the decisions of who uh, the city manager is the one that decides about personnel. So if that is the story, because that's not always how it is, but if that is the story they're giving us, so then it's the city manager who is hesitating to pull the trigger on Amy Gonzalez as our chief of police, even though many of you guys have asked. Many of you guys like the post that we recently shared that Amy Gonzalez needs to be the next chief of police for the city of Eagle Pass. Not just because of the integrity of the department, but because the community deserves this. They deserve a chief of police that is going to take care of business, not going to be compromised by the politics. The community needs this. The community deserves this. Amy Gonzalez also deserves to be the chief of police, the first woman chief of police. And in my opinion, I think it is irresponsible of the current city council not to have promoted her already as our chief of police. It is getting ridiculous when you see somebody not only meet but exceed the qualifications and anything that we have seen before previously. It is ridiculous why this current mayor and city council has not made Amy Gonzalez the chief of police for the city of Eagle Pass. And it is irresponsible of the city manager if he is place holding these positions due to political bargaining chips for those in city council currently. And it is a disappointment that a city manager is playing politics. I don't know if it is. We haven't reached out to the city manager about it, but we did see the press release about the police chief interviews about to start. Now, again, I think that in that position, with somebody doing the job that Amy Gonzalez is already doing as the interim chief of police, anybody with common sense on that city council, this includes the current mayor, would move immediately to move Amy Gonzalez to be the next chief, permanently the next chief for the city of Eagle Pass. And waiting this long to do anything about putting her or doing any interviews is, I mean, everybody sees that. The inactivity, the inaction is obvious, it's there. And it's going to be responsible of not only this current city council, but of the city manager if Amy Gonzalez is not named the next chief of police of this great city. And that's the truth of it. Um, you know, you need to value those people that value you. Um, we've seen the value that Amy Gonzalez has put in as the chief of police, not taking any nonsense, wanting to change this community from its old practices, and from the city council and mayor not wanting to move forward, from the city manager not wanting to move forward as to not moving forward to name Amy as the chief of police is irresponsible. Not only that, I think that the current city council, whoever's serving, and the city manager should be held accountable for not making that move by all of us, the taxpayers, by all of you, City of Eagle Pass residents. You guys need to hold these people accountable to make sure they do what you elected them to do. Guys, first edition, cooked edition, Maverick, the Maverick Times podcast, number 320032, Eagle Pass Politics. You guys want to know the truth from somebody that researches, from somebody that knows, from somebody that takes more than 5 minutes to look at things? The Maverick Times is something you need to look into. Guys, have a good night. Thank you for joining us on this Friday evening in our cooked edition. Join us for more content, especially as we come up and get close to the elections, the city elections that are coming up. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all. Thank you for joining us. Sleep tight.